The CEO crushed a single dad's garage lease minus 21 days later. He bought her entire factory. The eviction notice was thinner than Jake Mercer expected. 11 years running Ironview Auto Restoration. And the end of it fit on a single sheet of paper, folded once, handed to him by a woman who didn't even bother to make eye contact until the very last second. "Mr. Mercer," said Vanessa Cole, CEO of Cole Dynamics, stepping carefully around a puddle of brake fluid in $3,000 heels. 30 days, I'm sure you understand. Jake didn't take the paper right away. His hands were still black with grease from the 73 Porsche 911 up on the lift behind him, minus a car that had been sitting in his father's shop, untouched, for over 40 years. Behind Vanessa stood her lawyer, Richard Hale, arms crossed, smug as a man who'd already won. Beside him, a young assistant clutched a tablet like a shield. "This lot's been in my family since 1981, Jake said. "My dad signed a lease with Arthur Cole himself. Arthur Cole has been dead for 15 years, Vanessa said flatly. Cole Dynamics is expanding its logistics campus. This property sits in the footprint. I didn't make this decision lightly, but it's final." She finally held out the paper. 30 days, Mr. Mercer. He took it. Behind him, his 9-year-old daughter Mia sat on an overturned tire, watching the whole exchange with wide eyes, a half-eaten granola bar forgotten in her hand. Vanessa's gaze drifted, minus just for a second, -2. The silver Porsche on the lift. Something flickered across her face. Then she turned and walked out, heels clicking across the concrete, her entourage trailing behind her like a cold front moving through. Jake looked down at the paper, then at his daughter, then at the old Porsche that had outlived 2 owners. One marriage, and apparently now his entire livelihood. He had no idea that car was about to save everything. That night, after Mia was asleep on the cot in the back office, Jake climbed back under the Porsche. His father had always said this car was special. Minus never explained why, just told Jake to keep it covered, keep it dry, and never, ever sell it. Jake had always assumed it was sentimental nonsense. A dying man's attachment to a beautiful machine. While replacing a cracked dashboard panel, his hand found a seam that didn't belong, minus a thin compartment behind the glove box, sealed with decades-old tape. Inside was a manila folder, brittle and yellowed, stamped with the logo of Coleridge Precision Manufacturing, minus the company that, decades ago, had grown into Cole Dynamics. Jake unfolded the top document. It was a 1978 co-invention agreement. 2 signatures, Arthur Cole and Thomas Mercer, minus his grandfather. The patent was for something called the Mercer-Cole Variable Valve Timing Assembly. A 50/50th royalty split, forever or until the patent expired. Jake had never heard his father mention any of this. He drove to the only person he trusted with legal questions, Walt Briggs, a retired patent attorney who used to bring his old Mustang in for tune-ups and now mostly fed pigeons outside the library. Walt read the agreement twice, then looked up over his glasses. "Jake, do you know what variable valve timing is? Engine thing. Makes it more efficient. It's in every combustion engine made after 1995. Every manufacturer pays licensing fees on derivative patents for decades. If this agreement is real, minus, and if nobody ever bought out Thomas Mercer's half, there is a royalty trust somewhere that's been sitting untouched since the 90s. How untouched? Walt did some math on a napkin. Then he stopped and did it again. "Jake," he said quietly, "your dad never cashed a single check, did he?" Walt explained it over coffee the next morning. Patents from the late Nias had long since expired, but the original VVT design had been the foundation for a chain of continuation patents Cole Dynamics filed through the S&S, each one citing the original Mercer-Cole agreement as prior art, with an attached royalty clause, as long as those continuation patents were still generating licensing revenue. Minus, and they were, because every modern Cole Dynamics engine block used a descendant of that design, minus the original 50/50ths, split technically still applied to a percentage of ongoing licensing income. Nobody had ever told Thomas Mercer that. Or if they had, the letters had never reached him. Why would Arthur Cole's company just not pay out? Jake asked. Maybe Arthur tried, Walt said. Maybe somebody after him decided it was easier to lose the paperwork than write a check with 8 zeros on it. Jake barely slept. He spent 2 days at the county records office and the USPTO's online archive, cross-referencing patent numbers, continuation filings, and licensing agreements. Mia helped, sorting printouts into piles at the kitchen table, more excited about the treasure hunt than she probably should have been. The picture was clear. The unclaimed royalty trust, compounded with interest over 45 years, was worth an estimated $38 million minus and growing by roughly $15 a month in active licensing fees from Cole Dynamics' current engine lines. Jake sat back in his chair. $38 million. Mia looked up from her drawing. Is that more than the eviction notice? Yay, baby, Jake said, laughing despite himself. That's more than the eviction notice. Walt helped Jake file a formal claim with the trust administrator, a dusty financial firm that hadn't touched the Mercer Cole account in over 2 decades because no living heir had ever come forward. Jake submitted the original agreement, his grandfather's death certificate, his father's death certificate, and proof of lineage. Word travels fast in corporate legal departments. By day 8, Richard Hale was standing in Jake's garage again, minus this time without Vanessa. That Porsche, Hale said, nodding toward the lift. Cole Dynamics has reason to believe that vehicle is company property, improperly retained by your father for decades. We'll need it returned immediately. Jake almost laughed. You're trying to take the car now. It's a separate matter, Hale said coolly. Unrelated to your claim. Sure it is, Jake said, and showed him the door. It wasn't unrelated, of course. The Porsche had been Arthur Cole's personal vehicle, and the original Farty agreement had been signed inside it. In the glove box compartment, by 2 men who'd built something together and trusted each other enough not to need a bank vault. Cole Dynamics' legal team tried 2 things over the next 3 days. First, they claimed the agreement was a forgery. Then, when a forensic document examiner minus paid for by Walt's old law firm, working on a contingency basis once they smelled $38 million minus confirmed the paper, ink, and signatures were authentic to 1978. They shifted strategy entirely. They offered Jake a settlement, $2 million, paid quietly, in exchange for signing away all claims and handing over the Porsche. Jake turned it down without discussing it with anyone but Mia. Why? She asked. Because $2 million is what they think will make us go away quietly, Jake said. And $38 million is what we're actually owed. Those aren't the same thing, kiddo. What Jake didn't know, minus what nobody outside Cole Dynamics' boardroom knew, minus was that the company was in serious trouble. A rival conglomerate, Bramfield Industries, had spent 18 months quietly buying up distressed debt tied to Cole Dynamics' manufacturing subsidiary. The actual factory, 40 miles north, where every engine block in the company's lineup was produced. Bramfield needed just one more piece of leverage to force a hostile restructuring vote and seize control of the plant outright. A sudden, massive, verified $15 million liability, one that a court would almost certainly validate. Given the documentation, would push the subsidiary's debt ratio past the threshold Bramfield needed. Vanessa Cole, it turned out, was fighting a war on 2 fronts, and she hadn't told her own legal team how close to the edge things really were. She came to the garage alone. No heels this time. Boots, jeans, a jacket that had clearly seen a workshop before. I need to see the agreement, she said. The real one, not Hale's summary. Jake hesitated, then handed it over. She read it twice, the same way Walt had. When she got to the signatures, her hand trembled slightly. That's my grandfather's handwriting, she said quietly. I haven't seen it in 20 years. She looked up. Mr. Sad. Mercer minus, do you understand what happens if you take this to court right now? Enlighten me. You'll win, she said. You'll win, and you'll bankrupt the one part of this company that still employs 400 people in this state. Minus including, ironically, the people who'd be building on this exact lot. Jake spent the next 2 days doing something he hadn't expected to do: research on Vanessa Cole herself. What he found surprised him. She'd taken over Cole Dynamics 6 years ago after her father's sudden retirement, amid a quiet scandal minus something about irregularities in historical royalty accounting that had been settled with a NDA and never made the papers. She'd spent 6 years trying to modernize a company that, underneath the glass headquarters, was held together with the same kind of duct tape and stubbornness as Jake's garage. She hadn't buried the Mercer Cole agreement. Her father had, and then conveniently retired before anyone could ask why. Jake called Walt with an idea that made the old lawyer whistle low and long. You want to do what with $38 million in verified claims? I want to convert it, Jake said. Not cash equity. In the manufacturing subsidiary, the factory. Jake, that would make you the majority shareholder, Jake said. Yeah. I did the math 3 times. The meeting happened in Vanessa's office on day 19 minus Jake, in a clean shirt for once, Walt beside him, and across the table, Vanessa and a visibly nervous Richard Hale. Here's the offer, Jake said, sliding a single page across the table. Far thinner than the eviction notice had been, but worth considerably more. Cole Dynamics settles the Mercer Cole Royalty Trust, full 45 years of back interest, by converting it into a controlling equity stake in the manufacturing subsidiary, not cash out. I become the majority shareholder of the factory. Hale started to object. Vanessa raised a hand to stop him. That stake, Jake continued, comes with one condition. Bramfield's debt position gets restructured around the new equity holder, minus me, and I'm not selling to them, ever. The factory stays Cole-operated. Jobs stay put. And the eviction notice on my garage gets torn up, because as it happens, my lot is now adjacent to a property I have a controlling interest in. Vanessa stared at the page for a long moment. You're not trying to destroy us, she said slowly. You're trying to save us. From Bramfield. From my father's mistake. From me. I'm trying to keep a roof over my daughter's head, and an old car that means something I'm still figuring out, Jake said. Everything else is just math that finally worked out fair. On day 20, the deal closed. Bramfield's hostile position evaporated overnight, minus there was nothing left to take over. Cole Dynamics manufacturing subsidiary had a new majority shareholder, and his name was on the door of a 6-bay garage 12 minutes down the road. Vanessa drove out to Ironview Auto Restoration herself that morning, minus no lawyer, no assistant, no heels. The eviction notice from 21 days earlier was still pinned to the corkboard by Jake's desk, now covered in Mia's marker doodles of the Porsche. I came to say something I should have said a long time ago, Vanessa said, looking at the silver 911, fully restored now, gleaming under the shop lights. My grandfather and your grandfather built that engine together in a garage that probably looked a lot like this one. He kept that car because it reminded him of the only business partner who ever actually had his back. Jake wiped his hands on a rag. My dad kept it because of a promise he never explained. Guess we both just figured it out 45 years late. For what it's worth, Vanessa said, the board wants to make Ironview the official heritage restoration partner for Cole Dynamics. Paid contract. Your lease minus permanent, by the way. Free of charge as part of the equity agreement, minus comes with it. Jake looked at Mia, who was sitting in the driver's seat of the Porsche, pretending to steer. She's going to want to keep that car, he said. She earned it, Vanessa replied. 45 years of interest says so. For the first time in 3 weeks, Jake actually laughed, minus, and for the first time in longer than that, Vanessa did too. The garage that almost got crushed didn't just survive. 21 days after an eviction notice, landed on a workbench covered in grease. The man who received it walked out owning the very factory that had tried to put him out of business. Not out of revenge, but because two old men had once shaken hands on a promise, and their kids finally finished it. The end.